So I've been wanting to do this video for a little while now, and I'm glad that I've got the sort of the set of results to do it. It's a little bit sadistic to say that I'm glad, because what it means is I've been waiting for a losing run to show you what happens when the MBM Draw system goes through a sticky patch. Because lately, we were in July, then we're in August here. Lately, it's been doing really well, and we haven't had any big runs of losses. But in this month so far, so we're only on the 5th, it's been pretty sketchy, to be honest. We've gone, I think it was 10 games without a draw, and it's been an ugly start to the month. But as I said, in a way, I'm kind of glad, because I wanted to show you what it looks like when such a thing happens. So if we have a look at the start of the month, we started off with two losses, if you like, so two non-draws in America, very close, and then we got into the match in Jordan, the third game of the month, and that finished 2-1. That was a mad one, because that was 1-0 until injury time, and then there was an injury time equaliser. I cashed out my bet because I was watching the game unfold on Betfair. I cashed out and made a profit, but then a winner went in to make it 2-1. So anybody who cashes out at 90 minutes will have been delighted with that, but it was a bit of a kick in the teeth for anyone who wasn't watching it unfold, which will be a lot of you. So that got us to sort of 3 games without a draw, and then we did get a draw in the 4th game in Mexico, and then we followed it up with another one in Venezuela, which was tricky to find for a lot of people. Sharon, shout out to you, found it on BetVictor. It wasn't on Betfair or Bet365, and sometimes that's the case with some of these more obscure games. But the draw came in on that one. So at that point, it was looking kind of healthy. Very close to making it 3 in a row with the game in the Argentina Pro. I never know what to call it, Liga Professional. Some people call it Primera. I don't know, the top league anyway in Argentina. And so that one ended up 1-2. There was a late goal in that one. I think it was an own goal, actually. That's what I'd say about this. As I explained, there's that random sort of occurrence of 2 goals in injury time in the Jordanian game. And I know that 2 of these games had late own goals to have the result end up being a win either way rather than a draw. So the margins are incredibly fine, and that's what you can see by all the yellow. Obviously, the yellows are games that were drawn at 85 minutes. So, yeah, I mean, the margins are fine, and they can go either way, and you have to accept that sometimes they won't go your way. And at the start of this month, they haven't massively gone our way, and that's what I wanted to show you, because I've been accused a lot of only showing winning results and doing videos about winning runs, which obviously I'm going to be more open to sharing all of the winning stuff, because it makes me happy, and I'm pleased for people who are betting on it. I don't bet on these at the moment because I haven't got the money, but I'm happy for the followers that are betting on it, and I do a lot of work on this, and I want to celebrate the good times, and nobody likes to harp on about the bad times. But I understand that it's as a sort of business sort of standpoint, that people need to see this, because I don't want to be seen to be sort of scamming people and saying that it wins all the time. So let's get back to it. Yes, so we were close. Well, you can see we're close to having 4 in a row, but what we actually had was 2 sandwiched by 2 very narrow misses, and then we did hit a horrible point on Saturday. It was for some reason I hate Saturdays, and Sundays aren't great either. The weekends, you'd think, there's loads of games to choose from. There's loads of sort of potential draws, which is true, but my luck stinks on a Saturday. There were 6 games this Saturday, and none of them came in. And as you can see, so the third, we've lost that one, this one. So we had 2 of them were sort of close, but ultimately still didn't come in. You can see there's no sort of outrageous score lines. 3-1's the worst we had, but if you count them up, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've lost 9 in a row there, and the 10th one we got a win. So anybody who's doing the increasing stakes, I probably haven't explained it that well before. I've always said that I would like to allow a 10 game bank. So if you're doing level stakes, 10 times your level stake. If you're doing increasing stakes, work out what your starting point is and add up what 10 bets worth of that is going to cost you. So 10 increments. So, -2, we can see here, can't we? If it was -2. So you'd add these up. -2. We can do that, can't we? Let's have a look. So look, you're at £149.88 if you're starting with £2 increasing stakes, and then you've got your another 75s around that for the actual bet that you placed that did win. So you're looking at about £200, just over. So if you were starting at 2 increasing stakes, that's what I'd want to allow, because it's 10 bets. And by that same token, the reason I say 10 is because after 10, that's where I'd put my stop loss. Personally, I'd put my stop loss at 10 and say, if the 10th bet loses, I'm going back to 2. And I'm writing that off and going to try and recoup it in the rest of the month. It's still early in the month, and if you've got faith in the system, which I think I'm hoping a lot of you will, because we've seen that it is successful, but these runs will come occasionally. There's somebody who's commented on one of my videos actually on YouTube and mentions that there's another system that had a couple of 19 runs of 19 games. I've never got it anywhere close to that. I'm not saying it never will, but luckily I've never got close to that. And I would put a stop loss at 10, and that's why I always say have 10 bets worth of bank to start. So yeah, we got to the 10th, and the 10th one did actually come in. As you can see, when you're doing increasing stakes, when the 10th one does come in, you're getting a big wedge back, because you're putting sort of 70 at £2 starting increasing stakes. You're putting like 70 odd quid on. It was only a low sort of one of the lower ones, so it was 2.98, and some of them, as you can see, we were winning at 3.5, but you're still going to get a fair whack back, and that put us in good stead. The next one, last night, early in the morning, it was 4-1 at one point in was it Mexico, Colombia, and it come back to 4-3, and it was so close to being 4-4. I couldn't sleep last night, and I saw that one coming in, but that one lost. So, ultimately, what it has done by doing increasing stakes has meant that we're still up. £2 increasing, £18.61. If you're starting at 10, you're £93, and if you're starting at 20, £186 after 5 days. But be aware, there's some big numbers here in terms of what you're putting on if you're starting at 20. And look at the size of the bets here. You're looking at sort of £1,500. So, fair play if you're throwing those numbers out. It's all relative, isn't it? If your bank is big, then those numbers don't look as big. To somebody whose bank is based on a £2 increasing stake, these numbers look ridiculous. For somebody who's got a starting bank so big that they can put £50 starting stake increasing, these numbers look small. Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant what other people are doing, and if the numbers are too big for you, then you just drop down and go to level stakes or start a lot smaller. You don't have to start at £2. You can start at £1 on Betfair now. So look, just do whatever you want. Do whatever makes sense. I'm just here to point out that the system will go through these ruts. This is the biggest one I've had. I don't think I've ever. I don't know. Maybe going back a few months, maybe there was a 10-game one. I don't remember it, but yeah, it's interesting to just highlight it, I think, and I want to do that. If it means some people look at this and think, oh, that's not for me, then I'm not subscribing to that. That's brilliant. Like, in all seriousness, that's brilliant, because I don't want anybody to subscribe to it and then get in the situation where they do go 10 games and it affects their mental health and their sort of well-being. I honestly would rather you didn't partake in this sort of system, if that's the case, or at least not increasing stakes. Definitely only go level stakes. But if I only want people to sign up who are suited to it and who this is suited to. And there are a lot of people out there, but there are also a lot of people out there who won't suit, just like everything in life. And I don't want to benefit by getting members and getting subscribers of people who it's going to be detrimental to. That's not what I'm in it for. I would feel terrible if I thought that was the case. So this is me showing that I'm not trying to persuade anybody to risk anything more than they are willing to risk, just for the sake of me getting some extra money, which would be much appreciated at the moment. That's not how I sleep at night. So I want you to have the full facts. I want you to see what's going on, and ultimately, it's still, as you can see, a successful system. Yeah, level stakes were, so if we started at £2 level stakes, would be £13 down at the moment. because at level it obviously takes a lot longer to recover the losses. But we are only 5 days in. So yeah, look, I'll stop rambling. I want you to just digest this and have a think about it, and contrast it to how we did last month, and how we ended up the month in such a lot of profit. I'm pretty sure we'll end up the same. But the losing run has come at the start, whereas last month I talked about there was a losing run that came near the middle when we'd already banked quite a lot. So it's just how it falls, and how we deal with it. So if you've got any questions, let me know. Leave a comment. Please subscribe because it really helps me out. And thanks, and I'll see you again soon.